parents or teachers or people that we grew up with instilled certain beliefs in us that are now blocking us from our success. So most of our core foundational beliefs we actually took on before the age of 7.
Welcome to this week's episode of the Daniel Char Show, where we discuss everything dealing with real estate, wealth, and business. This week we got Lisa Cavender, transformational coach all the way from Turks and Caicos, where she went from $150,000 to multi-millionaire status. She is an authorized Jack Canfield trainer, and she is committed to creating breakthroughs with all her clients and everyone around her. I want to introduce Lisa Cavender. Thank you so much for coming out.
Thank you, Daniel. It's just a pleasure to be here. Love to be here with you today.
Yeah, you like the weather here or Turks?
Oh, you know what? It's hovering around the 0 mark. I'm good.
Yeah. So what I know is that you used to be in Toronto, and then you
born and raised in Toronto. Yeah.
So when did you decide to go to Turks and Caicos?
Oh my gosh, it was 1996.
So it's been a while.
Yeah, 23 years now. So really long time ago. I mean, I laugh because back in 1996 we were still on dial-up connections on the internet, and none of the technology that we have today. But yeah, it was fantastic.
How do you go from Toronto to? Like, I go to Miami a lot right now, and Toronto's still my home, but I love the Miami heat, right? So how do you stay?
Well, you just get good at, and we also drive on the left there.
Wow.
So your brain just gets good at flipping back and forth between driving on the left and driving on the right, and winter and summer, and yeah, it's just a mindset thing.
So what made you pick up and go?
Well, a little for your viewers that maybe don't know me, I had started doing coaching back in the 90s. Mm-hmm. And, I'm a CPA, I'm a chartered accountant, I did the corporate thing, I worked at Ernst & Young and did all of that. And I found that early in my career, I was working so hard to get ahead, because you can imagine in the 80s and 90s as a female in finance, was much harder than it is today. And I was just starting to burn out. And so I started looking at, stress management techniques and things that I could do to have more high performance in my job, but also to have more work-life balance. Mm-hmm. And what I realized was on that journey of finding those answers for myself, that I had this really innate kind of gift or skill at all of this kind of getting in the zone, calming myself, and helping people with their own self-healing. So what I decided to do was start transitioning myself. I sort of reinvented myself. First, I was taking courses and certifications and all of that just for my own benefit, but then I realized, there's a huge market for this, and it was becoming more and more of my passion rather than the financial area. And I thought, you know what, I might as well start transitioning. So I did. And so long before, you mentioned that I'm a Canfield trainer and all of that. So long before Jack came out with the movie The Secret and all of that, I was using those tools, like, I had a vision board, and I was using affirmations and all of these kind of techniques because I was reading how beneficial they were to athletes and Olympic athletes and whatever. And so I actually attribute a lot of my early success in business to using those tools. In the year that I wrote my CA qualifications, it was a terrible pass rate in Ontario, way less than 50%. And, although I'm smart and capable, people that go into those certification exams are just as able. And so what differentiates you at that high level is always your mindset. And so visualizing and all of those tools was incredibly helpful to me back then. So basically what happened was about, I don't know, 3 months after I started using this affirmation, I now live in a warm climate, because I was getting, as you mentioned, although I love the snow and whatever, it's fun to ski and all of that, the slogging through it every day, I thought, wow, wouldn't it be nice to live somewhere warmer? And then lo and behold, like 3 months later, my partner and I had this opportunity to set up a business in Turks and Caicos. But at that time, I had already transitioned into coaching and seminars and workshops and everything. Yeah. And so the deal was, I'll just help you out for 6 or 12 months and I'll keep my coaching business going. Yeah. Because I was really good at systems and IT and marketing and whatever as well. I had the whole business background. Well, of course, 6 months became 12 months became, a bit of a detour. Right? Yeah, so that's how I ended up down there.
Wow. So I think I met you a couple months ago, and you fly back to Toronto a lot then, right?
Not as much in the longer term. More recently because, my parents are getting elderly, and my mom had recently had a little tumble and was in the hospital, so I've been back and forth more. And, meeting people like you and Sunil and Cora and whatever, and doing these events together, it's allowed me to come back and forth a little bit more. Yeah.
Perfect. So what is a transformational coach?
Well, for me, I call myself a transformational life and success coach because really, in order to get from where you are to where you want to be, it's almost like you have to think about, well, what's the version of myself that I need to become in order to achieve that? So whether it's new skills, new mindset, new emotional state, new mental awareness, whatever it is, you have to transform the current version of yourself in order to become this new version of you. And so I find that for all of us, right, we have sometimes a really clear picture of where we're heading, but, the fear pops up, or, we're not surrounded perhaps by the right people and so on. So I help people really bust through those limiting beliefs and get the transformation that they need so they can achieve their goals.
How do we get rid of fear? Because I think as entrepreneurs, like you said, self-limiting beliefs, it's all internal.
Yes.
And that's the roadblock to getting to the next level. How do we actually break through that fear?
Yeah, well, I could do a whole day on that, but essentially, there's a couple of places where fear will pop in. One is because we're maybe stretching ourselves out of our comfort zone in terms of technical capability. So really, part of feeling really confident, having high self-esteem, is two things, right? It's capability and feeling worthy of it. And so the capability piece is just, the first time, I don't know, you did a deal, or the first time you do anything, it feels a little uncomfortable. So part of it is just using affirmations, visualization, feeling how good it's going to feel in your body once you overcome that fear. But then the next part of it is really, a lot of times our well-meaning parents or teachers or people that we grew up with instilled certain beliefs in us that are now blocking us from our success. So most of our core foundational beliefs we actually took on before the age of 7. And so what I do is I work with clients in a process where I get them back to that place where they took that on and unlock that. And then once that's done, it's gone. Yeah. And so all of a sudden that roadblock has been evaporated.
So how does somebody start? Like if they're trying to they're trying to get to this level and they're stuck day to day and they don't know what to do. How do you help them take them and carry them to the finish line?
Yeah, well, I mean, for everyone, their journey will be unique, of course. But, you know, as I mentioned on this thing here, really it doesn't matter who it is. There's sort of 5 pieces that have to be in place until somebody is what I call free. So that means free mentally, emotionally, financially, you know, to just be, do, have whatever it is you want. To have this, you know, and because everyone has a different version of success, right?
Yeah.
So the first one is always just to be calm, because, you know, now the pace of the world in business and outside, it's just unprecedented amount of change for people now. And so it's really, really important that people can just be calm and centered in the midst of whatever chaos is going on, whether that's politically or in someone's industry being disrupted and in their business or their work. So much change right now that people are maybe perhaps feeling a bit stressed out about. And so I teach people, you know, lots of really simple to do, you know, easy to incorporate into your day techniques to just help being calm. Because once you're calm, then the next piece is just having some clarity, right? Because if you aren't really sure, like, I'm here and I think I want to get here, so sometimes the clarity is, where am I heading?
Yeah.
Or you're grappling with a big decision, maybe in your life or in your business. And to your point earlier about the fear, then people need the tools to figure out, well, is this thing that I'm feeling inside of me, is this my fear?
Yeah.
Or is this like, you know, my gut instinct telling me, no, this isn't the right thing? And so having these kind of tools and getting them really solid inside of you is like a life skill that doesn't matter whether it's business or in any situation. That's a really important skill to have.
So
right?
what are the types of people that come to you? Are they mostly business people, or people who are stuck, or they just want to get to the next level?
All of those people. You know, because it depends. Some people, maybe they're really good at staying calm, but they're lacking the clarity piece, or they know where they want to head, but they're having a lot of fear. So the next step is just building up the courage to bust through their limiting beliefs. Mm-hmm. You know, I've worked with small business people. So usually people will come to me with a specific problem.
Mm-hmm. What's your most common problem?
The most common problem is they're just overwhelmed, completely stressed out.
Burnout.
Maybe not to the edge of burnout, but they know that they're maybe not sleeping as well as they'd like to. They're not having enough time with their family or their friends or whatever, and there's just not a lot of work-life balance, or maybe some aspect of their business is starting to spin out of control and they're not keeping up. Yeah. Or people that are going through a life transition. So as you mentioned, people who are stuck. So people who are kind of, you know, maybe they're in a decent job or a decent career, but they know there's something more, but they're not really sure what that more is. So I help them get that clarity on, you know, what are you really passionate about and what are you really good at, and what could be some next steps for you in terms of getting unstuck, whether that's personally, transitions in divorces, or transition like I've done, reinvented myself in many different careers. Could be any of those things.
So what was the biggest transformation that you had with the client?
Oh my gosh. Well, I can think of 2 really big ones. One is someone who was really, really capable and doing well in her career, but was in an abusive marriage and didn't need to get out. and was being kind of cut off from her finances by her soon-to-be ex-spouse. So that was somebody who had no money available, no self-esteem, and in a dangerous situation. So I've helped people from there get unstuck, freed, safe, access to their money, help them build up their self-esteem so they can actually stand their ground and have what's legally available to them. And then I've also, my other really big one on a business side of things would be an entrepreneur who developed a whole new side and product line of their business because of the work we did around clarity and trying to get systems in place and establish some calm in the business environment, and just like doubled their revenue in, I guess it was a little over a year.
Wow. So tell me more about your business in Turks. Or are you working remotely, or do people have to come to you? How does it work? What's your program?
Yeah, so most of the work that I do is remote because I work with people all over the world. So I have clients in Europe and North America and the Caribbean, and but you know, after our recent attendance in Ottawa, people were really excited about what we all were doing there, and there was quite a lot of interest for me to come back.
Yeah.
So yeah, I mean, I'm totally open to coming back and doing some 1-day or 2-day events. And really
that was the Wealth Mastery, right? So
Yes,
Wealth Mastery
yes.
in Ottawa. You were on the expert panel there.
Yes.
And you also had, you shared the stage with Kevin Harrington
And Jack Canfield.
That was great, yeah.
Yeah.
And then you went through the 5 steps. So that's, what's that called? 5 steps to freedom. Can we show this over here? Will that pick that up? Yeah, perfect. So we could put a link over there too.
Yeah. And
Okay.
I'd be happy for any of the viewers that would like to do like a free masterclass so people can really dive into some of these tools a lot more. And
yeah, tell me about your new book coming out too.
oh my gosh, yeah, I'm co-authoring a book with Brian Tracy and some other featured authors called The Secret to Wealth. And my contribution to that book is all about building your self-worth to grow your net worth.
What does that mean?
Well, to me, that means, as we were talking about earlier, we have these limiting beliefs that sometimes get in the way. And, you know, scientists have proven that you really can't take an action that's inconsistent with your belief about yourself. So really our beliefs sort of run like software in the background, but they create like a net worth ceiling. So if you believe that you're capable or worthy of a certain amount of net worth or wealth, then it's very tough without doing the inner work to bust through that to earn more than that. And so this is why a lot of times we see people who are super intelligent and capable and they're striving, you know, and that's the thing that I noticed early in my career, and that's why I'm so passionate about this, is because I just, you know, it takes a lot of effort, of course, to get a certain amount of success. But when people are struggling, then it's a sign that, you know, it could be easier and they need some tools. And so, yeah, I don't want people to struggle. I want people to be successful and thriving and happy and healthy. And, yeah,
perfect. So what's coming up next in 2020?
Oh my gosh.
I know you got your calendar lined up and all.
I know, and what I love to do around this time of year is a program I call Passion, Purpose, and a Plan. Because it's, you know, the end of the year, and 2020, it's like a big year, right? In terms of finishing up a decade, people are really kind of thinking about longer term planning. Where am I heading? What am I passionate about? And then really locking down a practical 90-day plan of some action steps on how am I going to get some momentum and traction straight out of the gate in the new year. So that's one. And then I'm going to be launching the 5 Steps to Freedom in a bigger group coaching online, as opposed to right now I'm doing small groups and one-on-ones. So I'd like to make sure that more and more people have these tools so that, you know, people are thriving.
Excellent, excellent. So we're going to put a link down below. Lisa, any last words for our viewers out there? Anything you want to share for them?
I would just like to say it's been a pleasure to get to know all of you, and I really want you to achieve everything that you're dreaming of for 2020. So if there's something holding you back, you have a challenge, you're not sure how to break through, just reach out. I'll do whatever I can to help you.
And we're going to have Lisa's information in the description below. Reach out to her. Lisa Cavender, thank you so much.
Thank you, Daniel.
Thank you.